I think I'm starting to fall for my wife again. I'm not sure how to handle it. This whole situation is complicated, and it feels heavy. 4 years ago, I lost my wife after complications from childbirth, something rare, when our second son was born. I was deployed at the time, and when I got home, it hit me like a freight train. I felt like nothing could ever make me happy again. My boys, now 6 and 4, are amazing, but they're a lot to handle on my own. That's when I turned to Cass, a friend of a Marine buddy's sister. She was around 20, struggling with debt after leaving an abusive ex-boyfriend just months earlier, and agreed to help me in exchange for a place to stay. At first, it was just her helping with the kids and keeping the house together. She asked to borrow money to see a doctor for shaking hands. She had no insurance, and I helped her out, thinking nothing of it. She was an angel. Cass was doing all the cooking and cleaning, really stepping up in a way I didn't expect. It turned out that she was dealing with some neurological disorder, likely from the abuse she'd gone through. At the time, things seemed pretty straightforward. I had good insurance, and she needed healthcare. I didn't expect to move on from my wife, and she was dealing with her own issues with intimacy. So we agreed to marry, but we kept things platonic. We made a deal to protect her from her debt, with a prenuptial agreement in place. It wasn't exactly by the book, but we both needed someone, even if it wasn't in the usual way. The last 3 years have been better than I imagined, though. Cass has turned out to be incredible. The house is always clean, meals are ready when I get home, and she's worked nights as a baker, nearly paying off her debt. Her health has also improved because of the care she was able to get. She's been amazing with the boys, teaching them about their mom, showing them pictures, taking them places, and even helping my 4-year-old learn to read. He's going to be the smartest kid in his class next year. Sometimes, he calls her mommy, but she gently reminds him that she's Cass, and his real mom is the one in the picture above the fireplace. Once her debt is gone, the boys are in school, and she has a bit of savings. She's planning to go into nursing. Our relationship remains platonic, but we care deeply for each other. I've cried on her shoulder more times than I can count, and she's done the same for me. We've had a few fights, like the time I yelled at her for taking the boys to see Santa without me, but we worked through it. That was 2 years ago, and since then, our small arguments have been manageable. She has this way of calming me down when I'm upset. It's hard to explain, but she understands me like no one else. But now, I think I'm falling for her. I've noticed all these little things: the way she smells, how she smiles at me, the way she laughs, how she looks at me with those eyes of hers. The boys love her, and she's stunning, hardworking, and one of the strongest people I've met. A few nights ago, after we put the boys to bed, I almost kissed her. And lately, her goodbyes have been lingering a little longer. The other day, she was napping in my bed, washing her sheets, and I found myself wanting to join her, not for anything physical, but just to be close to her. I'm not sure what to do about this. It's been 4 years since my wife passed, but I can't stop thinking about Cass. I used to think nothing would ever replace my wife, but these days, I'm thinking about Cass more and more, and it feels like a betrayal. I still miss my wife, but I never thought I could move on. Now, I want to be with Cass, not just physically, but romantically. I'm unsure how to bring this up. I don't want to make her uncomfortable, but this is getting harder to ignore. I was thinking about asking her to dinner, just the two of us, to talk about it. But what if she's not interested? How can I even tell? Just the other day, after a tough time with the boys, I brought her some flowers, and she was thrilled. She gave me a long hug and even kissed me on the lips. I didn't expect that, and I'm still not sure what it means. TLDR, I married my best friend's sister for healthcare after my wife passed, and now I think I'm falling in love with her. What should I do? Edit, an hour later, after reading your comments, I've decided to tell her. I made a reservation at her favorite restaurant for dinner. Her brother is watching the kids, and if she's not into it, she can stay at his place. She just paid off her debt this morning and texted me a picture of the check. Our 3-year anniversary is coming up, so that's when I'll bring it up. I'm nervous, but I'm going to tell her during dessert. I'll update you all afterward. Thanks for the support. Update 1. I told Cass how I feel about her tonight, May 30th, 2013. Everything went better than I could have hoped. Just got home. Time to go spend time with my wife. I'll update again tomorrow. Update 2. Spent the night cuddling and kissing my wife. It's honestly still hard to believe, but it was a great night. May 30th, 2013. So here's how it went down. At first, our younger son claimed he ate a giant fuzzy spider, which led Cass to panic and want to take him to the hospital. He was fine, though. Her brother Joe told her he'd handle it and practically pushed her out of the house so she could celebrate paying off her debt. She didn't seem like she wanted to go, though. I started getting really nervous. We arrived at the restaurant a bit early, and luckily, they had a table. Cass ordered wine, which was odd since she hasn't had much to drink since her breakup with her ex, but I figured it was a good time to celebrate. We tried making small talk, but it felt forced, and I knew I needed to tell her soon. Before the entree even came, I said, "I need to talk to you about something." She didn't smile and just said, "I know, Joe told me," and my heart nearly stopped. I quickly apologized, saying I wanted to tell her myself. She shook her head, frowned, and reassured me that it was fine, that she just wanted me to be happy, and I deserved to be happy. I told her that I didn't want to make her uncomfortable, but I needed to tell her how I was feeling and see how she felt about it. It was totally up to her. She looked at me and said, "It's actually up to you. Do what makes you happy." She added that she was probably going to move out once her nursing program was finished but would stay out of the way until then. That's when I realized something was off, so I asked what exactly Joe had told her. She said that he told her I was going to dinner to tell her I'd started developing feelings for a girl and was asking if it was okay for me to ask her out. That's when it hit me, Joe had set me up for the most climactic pickup line in history. Our entree came, shrimp and pesto yaki for me, crab legs for her, and I explained that yes, I had started developing feelings for someone, but I didn't want it to mess up what we had. She said it wouldn't mess anything up, she still loved the boys and would take care of them in the house. I then said I wasn't going to ask the girl out, and she asked, "Why not?" That's when I dropped the line, "Because I'm already on a date with her right now, thanks to Joe, who must know about your planned move and wanted that line." She gave me that look, the one she gives the boys when they say something ridiculous, then smiled and shook her head, asking, "Really?" I nodded and told her I loved her more than anyone else, aside from our kids, and that I'd fallen in love with her. She rolled her eyes, took a sip of her wine, and said, "About damn time, Alex." And then, well, I kissed her. I knocked over her wine, but neither of us cared. We kissed for a minute before she joked, "Get off me before my crab legs get cold." Afterward, we got ice cream, kissed some more, and headed home. When we got back, Joe was on the couch, grinning, watching a VH1 dating show. Cass stormed in, yelling at him that he ruined everything and that she was going to move in with her mom. We let him think that for about 5 seconds before bursting into laughter. Joe shook my hand, said the boys were asleep, and left. I picked Cass up, kissed her, and carried her to my room, where we spent hours making out and cuddling. She's not ready for more yet, but she emphasized yet. I'll give her all the time she needs. At one point, our youngest came in with a nightmare and brought his puppy, claiming the dog was scared. Of course, we let them in. I woke up early to make breakfast and now I'm about to go kiss my wife goodbye. I'm going to ask my boss for the afternoon off so I can spend more time with her while the boys are at school. Sorry I haven't replied to everything, but thanks for all the support. Update 3, quick update, everything is going well with Cass, May 31st, 2013. I'm still not sure how to prove it, though. I lost the restaurant receipt and didn't pay with a card, so I won't post pictures for obvious reasons, government stuff. But I will deliver proof somehow, I've always kept my word. To those asking about a second wedding ceremony, we just kissed for the first time 2 nights ago, so no, we're not doing that yet. Thanks to whoever gave me gold, I spent $25 last night buying Joe beers, but next time, donate to a good cause like taking a vet to lunch or learning CPR. I'll update when I can, but I've been a bit busy. Thanks again, everyone. Update 4, I'm 28, and everything with my wife, Cass, 24, has been going well until last night, June 25, 2013. To quickly summarize, my first wife passed away 4 years ago while I was deployed. I ended up marrying Cass, who was helping me care for my kids and maintain the house during my grieving process. I did this because she had no insurance due to past abuse and medical issues. I know I've posted about this before, and I can't post the whole update here due to some rules, but I suggest checking my previous posts for more details. Things were going really well, and I started developing feelings for her. I was afraid of scaring her, but after a bit of advice from Reddit, I took the plunge. Now, I'm happily dating Cass. My life has been crazy, but things are good. Our friends and family have noticed, but it's mostly been fine. My sons haven't seemed to notice much of a change, which I find kind of funny. I think they probably knew what was going on all along. However, last night, I came home to find Cass upset. Dinner was burnt, no big deal, I'm not a great cook, but she seemed off. She'd been drinking a little more than usual, just a couple of glasses of wine. When I asked her what was wrong, she told me her ex-boyfriend, who's now 30, had been granted parole last week. I couldn't believe it. She should have been able to testify at his hearing. The crime he went to prison for wasn't related to the abuse, which had always been my assumption. I thought she was reassured that he'd be locked up for a long time. She was scared to testify, though, and had never pressed charges against him. She told me that when he was in jail, he had asked her to post bail, but instead, she went to my first wife for help moving out. Now, I don't know what to do. She feels guilty and upset about it all, and I know she regrets not going to the police. We don't have any way to send him back to prison, but I'm going to take legal action if he tries to contact her. I'm making sure she feels safe. I've reached out to my lawyer about filing a restraining order, and he said it shouldn't be difficult, but Cass is really shaken up. I'm taking today off to be with her, but I still don't know how to convince her she's safe. I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect her if he tries anything. Update 5, I'm 29 now, and things with Cass, who's 25, have been going well. September 3, 2014. Sorry I haven't been updating, but I've just been busy with life. Last night, I couldn't sleep, so I ended up browsing the internet and came across Reddit. I realized that some of you have been wondering how things are going with Cass, and the answer is that things are going great. It hasn't been without challenges, though. When Cass's ex got out of prison last year, she was so afraid he'd try to contact her. I remember the night it happened like it was yesterday. Someone rang the doorbell, and our oldest son answered. The guy asked for Cass, and she told the boys to go upstairs. She didn't look scared, but I could tell something was up. He apologized, begged for forgiveness, and asked for a second chance. I wanted to punch him in the face, but Cass stayed calm. She told him no and asked him to leave. He kept trying to contact her after that, but we were able to get a protective order. Last I heard, he moved upstate to live with his dad. Around the same time, Cass's brother Joe got into a bad car accident and had to move in with us for a while. Joe's a great guy, and I'm happy he was able to stay with us, but it was a stressful time. About 7 or 8 months ago, Cass and I finally consummated our marriage, and the boys are doing great. They're really happy. Cass got a great job, though I think she's working too much overtime. We're expecting our first child together in February, and we couldn't be more excited. Life is pretty good right now. I'll stick around for a few more hours if anyone has any questions. Final update, I'm 29, and Cass, my wife, is 25. It's a girl. April 29, 2015. I know this update is long overdue, and I apologize. Cass had a rough pregnancy, but everything turned out great. Our daughter, Teresa, was born in early March, 21 inches long and 9 pounds. She's perfect and way easier than the boys were. She hardly ever cries and is super photogenic. Our youngest son is completely in love with her. Sometimes it's less cute than it sounds. Joe is doing alright too. His back still bothers him, but he's dating a girl who went to my high school, and he's really happy with her. We're all happy for him. Other than adjusting to life as a new father, there isn't much to update. I'm home today with the baby while Cass is out, so I should be around for a while if anyone has any questions.